Hey guys, Matt Goodwin. Well, France is in the middle of an enormous political revolt. At the national elections, Marine Le Pen and her National Rally movement just topped the polls in the first round of the legislative elections with 33% of the national vote. Support from 1 in 3 French voters. What's going on?
We could expect them in the second round to form the largest bloc in Parliament. That would cause all sorts of problems for Emmanuel Macron as president. On the left as well, this leftist alliance, they have also done very well, 28.5%, really not far behind the National Rally, and I think they'll probably be quite pleased with that. For Macron, this doesn't look good. He was taking a gamble, a wild gamble, a lot of people said, by throwing this snap election, and it looks, from this initial result, looks like he's lost his gamble.
People on the left will tell you this is all about economic inequality, this is all about the cost of living crisis, this is all about inflation. I don't buy it. I actually think if you look at why Marine Le Pen and her protege, Jordan Bardella, and the National Rally movement are doing so well, I think it's got a lot more to do with culture than economics. What do I mean by that?
Mes chers compatriotes, la démocratie a parlé et les Français ont placé le Rassemblement national et ses alliés en tête et ont pratiquement effacé le bloc macroniste. Tout d'abord, comme responsable politique, je me félicite de la participation si élevée qui donne une force particulière aux résultats de ce soir. Les Français ont ainsi, dans un vote sans ambiguïté, témoigné de leur volonté de tourner la page après 7 ans de pouvoir méprisant et corrosif. Nous en remercions chaleureusement les électeurs et accueillons ce résultat, première étape vers un choix d'alternance comme une marque de confiance qui nous honore et nous oblige. Pour autant, rien n'est gagné et le second tour sera déterminant. Déterminant pour éviter au pays de tomber entre les mains de la coalition NUPES 2 et en réalité d'une extrême gauche à tendance violente, antisémite et anti-républicaine, dont les éléments les plus activistes de LFI, du NPA, des groupuscules violents ou communautaristes imposeront Jean-Luc Mélenchon comme Premier ministre.
I mean, for many French people, what they've been watching in recent years are the ongoing effects of mass immigration, are the ongoing effects of the failures of multiculturalism.
Amongst all the parties, it's the National Rally that comes closest to ensuring my security. For example, when I go out and if I'm followed on the street. It's sad to say, but it's always by a certain kind of person. Sometimes they can be French, but often they are not. It's really about uncontrolled immigration.
The ongoing effects of crime, criminality, violence, much of which is perpetrated by people who are not French.
It's something we hear all the time, but it's true we've never tried the National Rally. When I speak to friends about it, it's not a taboo anymore.
C'est plus du tout tabou.
And they've been watching the general decline in the living standards, in the quality of life, and feeling as though their identity, their values, their ways of life, being French, is now being rapidly undermined. And in the Substack, where I write about my political views at mattgoodwin.org, I point out that there are some remarkable stats now doing the rounds in terms of what's going on in French society, like the fact that nearly 80% of solved rapes in Paris are committed by foreigners.
Karine Sanzalon was raped one night in October 2016. As she was walking home from work, a cab driver offered to give her a ride, telling her how unsafe it can be for a young woman in the street at night. At the time, Karine was only 19 years old. She felt vulnerable, he seemed nice. She got into the car and her life changed forever.
He was a cab driver. It was late at night. I shouldn't have gotten in. I was young and I should have known better. All this time I was saying to myself, I should have seen it coming. I thought nobody would believe me. And that's the feeling that stays with me the most.
Or the fact that the vast majority of robberies and thefts and muggings are also committed by people who are not considered French. Or the fact that last year, in 2023, 40 major Islamist terrorist plots were foiled in France.
What more do we know about the suspect?
Well, actually, we know a few things. We know that he's involved in jihadism since a few years now. He was in contact with two persons who committed terrorist attacks in France. He was in contact with French jihadis in Syria, and himself, he was condemned to 5 years of imprisonment after preparing or plotting an attack in the La Défense area in 2016. So he was in jail. He was condemned for 5 years of imprisonment. He did 4.
Underlining what even Emmanuel Macron has accepted is the rise of a so-called counter-society within France. The way in which lots of predominantly Muslim folks in France are not integrating into wider French society. Now, if you look at who's voting for Marine Le Pen at recent elections, like the European elections in the spring, over 70% of them said the number one reason for voting for Le Pen, Bardella and the National Rally were their concerns over immigration.
We're seeing disturbing scenes of rioting across France after the first round of voting in the election. Parts of the population not happy with the National Rally Party's success. It's a troubling display of intolerance towards democratic outcomes.
On Monday, one of Le Pen's candidates was assaulted in the Channel port of Cherbourg. A group of well-known rappers have released a song calling on voters to vote for the left and saying that if Le Pen's party wins, it's time to take out their guns and saying, Jordan, as in Jordan Bardella, you're dead.
For them, this is absolutely central. And if you look too at where Le Pen has been polling most support nationally, it's been in the industrial heartlands, in parts of the north and also parts of the southeast, small towns, medium towns, areas outside of the big cities where lots of voters feel this sense of threat, this sense of rapid change most acutely.
The far right's messaging has found fertile ground elsewhere in the rural region. The town of Romilly-sur-Seine. The far right dominated here as well in the recent European elections, taking nearly 50% of the vote. The town has seen better times. Since the 1980s, the closure of textile factories has led to an estimated 25,000 job losses in the region. Critics say the failure by other political parties to connect with voters has contributed to the rise of the far right.
So I think France is now really at a watershed moment. Its politics are becoming much more polarized. The elites don't really know what to do. They keep painting Marine Le Pen as a threat to democracy, as a far-right figure. But many voters are saying, well, hang on a minute. For me, this isn't about Le Pen. It's not even about Jordan Bardella. It's not even about the National Rally. For me, it's about these issues that you are refusing to address.
La vérité, c'est que vous n'avez voulu entendre aucun avertissement. Ce qui arrive, nous l'avions prédit malgré une grande adversité, je le dis avec tristesse et gravité, nous avons eu malheureusement raison. Au moment où vous vous apprêtez à nous resservir à coups de milliards un énième plan banlieue, je vous appelle au courage de l'autocritique, à l'humilité d'admettre l'échec dramatique de vos politiques. Il faut d'abord et avant tout stopper l'immigration anarchique. Or, vous êtes en train d'aggraver le problème du communautarisme, voire du séparatisme, et de le disséminer dans le moindre village. Il faut ensuite reprendre la main dans tous les quartiers de France, rétablir l'autorité des parents, refaire de l'école le creuset de la République, rendre à la justice sa fermeté, sans laquelle elle restera impuissante à protéger les Français.
It's about these concerns over mass migration, Islamist terrorism, violence, the breakdown of multiculturalism, all of these issues that elites are refusing to solve and deal with in a serious way. And until these concerns are addressed, not just in France but across Western democracies, we're going to see the likes of Marine Le Pen, Donald Trump, the Freedom Parties in the Netherlands and Austria, Nigel Farage in the UK, Sweden Democrats, Giorgia Meloni in Italy, just get stronger and stronger and stronger. So stop blaming the populists, stop deriding the populists themselves, start addressing the reasons why so many people are voting for them. That's what I think would be a good start. If you're watching this video on YouTube, like, subscribe, help support this channel. Join me at mattgoodwin.org. We've got 40,000 people now reading our Substack on a weekly basis. We've got 1 million people clicking on the site every month. I will see you there. But make no mistake, this populist revolt that you're seeing in France, it's just getting going.